A pair of teams hoping to get back in the win column meet tonight at Diddle Arena in Bowling Green, Kentucky. It's the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers hosting the Alabama A&M Bulldogs on Thanksgiving Eve on ESPN+. Good evening, everyone. I am Jeff Greer alongside Craig McCormick, and we are back home for Western Kentucky basketball. For the first time in 3 games, Craig, Alabama A&M and Western both on 3-game losing streaks. What are you looking for tonight?
Well, I'm looking for Western Kentucky to get off to a good start. I think they've had some slow starts. They played some tough competition. They played Minnesota, South Carolina, and the other night against a ranked team in Memphis. So I think being at home, they need to get off to a good start.
It's a big, big opportunity, a 5-game homestand coming up for Western Kentucky. Alabama A&M on the road for 2 whole months before they can go home. And we're going to be talking a lot about Davion McKnight tonight. Craig, what are you looking for from him?
Well, Davion has been the stellar player for the Toppers this year. He's averaged 19 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals, and a whopping 38 minutes per game. So Coach Stansbury has really had to lean on him so far in the first 4 games.
And Jalen Johnson, the Indianapolis native, will be a player to watch for Alabama A&M.
6'7" junior, averaging 17 points, 8 rebounds, 3 offensive on the glass, so he can get it done. He's kind of a solid force in there for Alabama A&M.
Well, it's not going to take very long to notice the one change that Rick Stansbury has made to his starting lineup for the Hilltoppers tonight. He is a 7'5" guy, just in the middle of everything. Jamarion Sharp is starting tonight at center. Justin Butts is out with some knee soreness. A change to the starting lineup for the Hilltoppers. They are wearing their home whites with the red numbers and black lettering. Alabama A&M in their road maroons with the white trim. We are underway at Diddle Arena here in Bowling Green. Jeff Greer, Craig McCormick with you. And right off the bat, Alabama A&M gets the steal. And Craig, that has been something that has been a real struggle for Western Kentucky so far this season. Turnovers on 23% of their possessions.
They have really struggled, you know, and I think a lot of that is because coaches had to lean on McKnight so heavy. And as I said, he's played 38 minutes a game. So I think some of it is just the sharpness out of the point guard position, but then a lot of focus with some new bodies that are in here this year for Western Kentucky.
Alabama A&M played their season opener at home against Tennessee State. They won that game, and they have been on the road ever since. Coming in firing. Missing the 3 there is Eric Lee, and the rebound underneath to Western, and Sharp erases a shot right away.
Boy, that was quite a mismatch. 7'5" against probably 5'8" on that one.
Garrett Hicks, an all-SWAC second-team selection last season, and a preseason all-SWAC selection alongside Jalen Johnson. And this is an Alabama A&M team that started last season really well. They won their first 4 games. They were 6-2. But like so many other programs in the country, undone by COVID and cancellations, they end up losing their final 7 games through injuries and having to manage their different rotations, hoping that this season is a chance to capitalize on the experience that they started to develop last year under Dylan Howard.
Yeah, because he started a very young team and basically had all 5 starters back for this year's squad.
All but 1 player departing, or staying, excuse me, from last season for Alabama A&M. Your officials tonight, Barry Mathis, John Hampton, and Les Jones. The night before Thanksgiving, working up a sweat before some turkey and stuffing tomorrow, Craig.
Oh, no doubt. I'm looking forward to my mom's turkey.
There you go. Alabama A&M, a lengthy possession to start this off. E.J. Williams, the jumper from outside, right at the buzzer of the shot clock. And the big fella gets one to fall.
They got it into the elbow there of the foul line, and nice little left-handed stroke for him.
Western Kentucky 1 and 3, as we mentioned. Losing to Memphis. And really trying to find their shooting touch. And one of the guys who is going to be working on that is Luke Frampton, as that was partially blocked.
And you mentioned Frampton taking the 3. Here's the ball out of bounds. But Frampton, here's a gentleman that player that's played at Davidson, came over here to Western Kentucky, and basically shot 41% from three-point range last year, 40% shooter for his career. He's off to 3 of 26 now, 3 of 27 on the year, so 11% to start off the year. He has really struggled for the Toppers.
And it has been a bugaboo for WKU, just 29.5% from 3 so far this season, as Jarius Hamilton with a nice find underneath, but Frampton wasn't ready for it. This is Cam Tucker, the junior guard for Alabama A&M.
Well, we had mentioned about, you know, the Coach Stansbury probably looking for the Hilltoppers to get off to a good start. What have they had now? Probably at least three turnovers, I would think, here in the first few minutes.
They have 3 turnovers, and they are 0 for 1 so far, trying to get going in this first stretch. Hamilton's first look is good.
That's a good shot for Hamilton. He likes that mid-range jumper. He was able to stick that open one.
Here come the Bulldogs. Trying to get inside is Johnson. And he is a big body, Jalen Johnson, 6'7", 230. Out of Emmerich Manual High School up in Indianapolis, was an all-SWAC selection. He scored 30 against Cincinnati earlier this season. And right away, Craig, we're watching Western Kentucky's length bother Alabama A&M and moving the ball, trying to get it inbounds.
Very much so.
Jumper from the corners.
Well, that was, you know, that was off because you had Sharp, 7'5" player out there, kind of defending against him. And you know, we mentioned his height, and he's the tallest player in NCAA basketball this year.
7'5", local product.
And he's really come on for the Toppers. The last game against Memphis, it really looked like a player for them.
Hamilton with the putback underneath. Sharp wanted a piece of it, but Hamilton beat him to it. Johnson. Sharp with the board again. Here comes McKnight. Much better these last couple possessions for Western.
Yeah, and you see Alabama A&M. Looks like, you know, they tried to get in that 2-3 zone, and then they kind of match up a little bit. They're leaving that middle wide open, and Hamilton's taking advantage of it.
Jarius Hamilton, 3 for his first 3 with 6 early points. He's got everything for Western. And Dylan Howard's bunch trying to find some offense. Hamilton with the board again. Look out when this guy is driving. Anderson, nice find. And Frampton, the early 3.
Frampton really looked like he had more confidence going up on that three-point shot. He kind of pounds his thigh coming down the court here like he knows he finally got on track.
West Virginia native made 100 threes in a season. As a freshman at Davidson, the only other player to do that is Steph Curry.
And he's made a few, hasn't he?
Yeah, pretty good company to keep for Frampton as Johnson looks at the mid-range jumper and missed it. And we'll go into the media timeout. Western Kentucky up 9-2 on a 9-0 run to start things. They've made their last 3 here at Diddle Arena, and they're off to a strong start over the visiting Alabama A&M. Western Kentucky missed its first shot of the game, and since then it has been buckets from Jarius Hamilton with 6 early points, and he's got Western Kentucky in front 9-2 into the first media timeout on the visiting Alabama A&M. Jeff Greer, Craig McCormick here with you, and Craig, we were talking about fast starts for Western. What do you think of that one?
Well, we said that they started off with 3 turnovers, and then they've got into a better rhythm here against the zone defense that A&M is putting up, especially Hamilton. He's had 2 opportunities right in the middle of the lane.
McKnight out front to Jamarion Sharp in the starting lineup for the first time this season. And a giveaway there is McKnight, I think, was already thinking about that next pass.
He was trying to get into the skip mode there, wasn't he? But those are just kind of the, you know, frustrating turnovers early in the year. you know, just lack of concentration there.
Garrett Hicks out front for Alabama A&M. And he picks up the foul on Anderson. That's the first foul from either team tonight at Diddle Arena, and fans still trickling in here. A late afternoon game. I'm so programmed to say evening, Craig, but a late afternoon game before one of the most fun nights of the year of the holiday season. Everybody coming back on Wednesday night for Thanksgiving.
You know, that last foul he called on Anderson there, but that's a tough matchup that he's guarding Garrett Hicks, only a 6-foot player, so there's a little mismatch there that he's having to move his feet a little bit faster, stay up with a quicker player.
A&M with some speed to them out front as Hamilton
Have we called that name before? Hey, he's found a sweet spot right there in the middle of the lane, free throw line.
It looks like the elbow jumper drill for Jarius Hamilton so far. This is Johnson. Up front, Cam Tucker. And a steal from Anderson.
Uh-oh.
Look out. And he had to settle for the layup there. A good recovery from Garrett Hicks to avoid the Sports Center top 10.
No doubt. Hicks did a good job of ducking underneath and kind of keeping those legs from Anderson exploding up.
Josh Anderson.
He's only made ESPN highlights, what, maybe 7 times in his career in the top 10.
I was going to say he's a top 10 producer extraordinaire, and for good reason. As Johnson trying to go over Hamilton, couldn't get it to fall. Sharp 4 early rebounds. Nice move from McKnight.
He's very much under control that time, you know. David McKnight sometimes struggles going to his right hand. He seems much more comfortable going to his left, but this time versus trying to take it all the way into the rim, he pulled up for a nice little jumper.
Really playing well so far this season, averaging 18.8 points a game as Williams going to work again on Sharp. Stop and pop from Hamilton. Yes, sir.
That's the kind of production I think Coach Stansbury was looking for from the Maryland transfer when he came in. He has had a couple games where he's had some foul trouble that's limited his minutes and his production, but tonight he's getting off to a great start.
He's got 11, and Western Kentucky off to a blazing hot start. 8 of their first 10 from the field, up 14. And Craig, it started 2-0, and this is an 18-2 run from Western Kentucky.
Yeah, they just really settled down on the offensive end of the floor against this 2-3 zone defense that Alabama A&M is putting in there. They're really doing a poor job. Alabama A&M is doing a poor job of really covering that cutter coming into the middle of the lane. And Western has really calmed down on their turnovers is the other aspect, because they started off this game with 3 turnovers and really didn't look good. But here now they've settled into a nice rhythm.
Jarius Hamilton so far this season is 17 of 31 on 2s, and he is 10 of 27 on 3s. So exactly what I think Western, as you said, Craig, was expecting from him to come in and be a sharpshooter for them and be that offensive spark.
Yeah, because he's the outside, because McKnight, as far as the point guard, he's taken 4 3-point field goal attempts on the year. So he's not really that 3-point threat, and they really were looking for Luke Frampton to be that guy, and he's under-delivered so far in this season. Nice block.
With the rejection underneath. Frampton in rhythm. Yes, sir.
That's his second one on the evening, and as we said, you know, a 3-point shooter like that, that's a 40% career shooter. He just has to get himself in a rhythm. He's doing that so far in his first couple.
Hicks for 3 with the answer. And a fast start to this ball game. A 14-point Western Kentucky lead.
Looks like Alabama A&M might be more of a box one, no, 3-2 defense now. I think they're trying to position knowing where Hamilton is for Western Kentucky, because They were trying to almost match up with him in the middle of the zone defense.
And it's going to be a tall task all night. He's got 11. Western Kentucky up 14 with 11:54 left in the first half. And Western Kentucky off to a very fast start, up 2 touchdowns on Alabama A&M here at Diddle Arena. Jeff Greer, Craig McCormick with you, and Jamarion Sharp into the starting lineup tonight. Craig already has 4 blocks for the Tops.
Well, the thing about him with his, not only is he tall, but just look at his arms and how the length of those. And he's not, so a tall player like that, what you want to do is you don't want to body up too much. You want to give just a little bit of space so that way he can use his height versus the offender getting into his body and creating a contact and foul.
And a couple substitutions here, including Sharp heading out, as we see Isaiah Cozart, Cam Justice, as the shot clock runs out. Sherman Brashear also on the floor for Western Kentucky.
A lot of new faces out there for the Hilltoppers. They kept McKnight and Hamilton in, but 3 new players that led to that turnover.
And Abba Lawal is also on the floor for Alabama A&M. Their 7-footer. Trying to find some touch here, and they have not been able to just yet as Anjay Cortez misses the jumper.
Well, the other thing for Alabama A&M is their leading scorer, Jalen Johnson, is 0 for 4 starting this game and now on the bench. So maybe Coach Field felt like that maybe he just needed to calm down a little bit and see if he can come back in and get some production.
Good find from Hamilton underneath the Cozart.
Yeah, great interior passing that time, just taking their time, finding Cozart.
Cozart, the junior from Richmond, Kentucky. And Western already up 16 here in the first 9 minutes of this one. Tucker. Nowhere to go on McKnight. This is Hicks. Cortez for 3, missed it. And there's a fight underneath.
Another rebound for Cozart. This is his first minutes of the season.
He's doing well so far. Brashear for 3. Yep, he got it.
He likes to let everybody know that he made the shot. He made a couple of those against Alabama State 4 games ago when he came in the first half and made a couple threes, and his first one he looked very good on.
4 for 8 so far this season from distance for the Dallas native. Hicks, the pull-up jumper. Got it, yes sir.
Nice shot for Hicks there. You know, he just took a couple dribbles, came off that little mild screen and pulled right up and stuck it.
Garrett Hicks, the junior from Madison, Alabama, with a couple of threes so far for his team. Justice got the shooter's roll. Cam Justice.
Almost looked like that there was a finger in the net for one of the Hilltoppers. Could have been a partial goaltend, but you know, Cameron Justice played for the Hilltoppers for 1 year, 2 years ago. Was part of the staff here starting this summer. Actually got a year of eligibility just a week and a half ago at the time, the day before he got married. And then he came back, got married on a Saturday, and came back for the Hilltopper program against South Carolina on Sunday.
And he had 18 against Memphis. A high school basketball legend in Kentucky was Mr. Basketball, as Brashear is off to a hot start himself.
Yeah, Brashear just had a nice open look on that one. You know, we mentioned about Cam Justice is when he first came back, he really struggled making the three-point shots, and the other night against Memphis, he got in a better groove, and I think he was 4-7 from three-point range.
As Cortez gets the jumper there, his first bucket of the night. And Western Kentucky came into this game 26 of 88 from 3 to start this season. Tonight they are 6 of 8 from beyond the stripe.
Well, you're talking about threes. Here's another one by Cameron Justice, nice looking stroke. They're getting into the rhythm. The thing about Alabama A&M is they're allowing their opponents 27 3-point field goal attempts per game. So this is, you know, one of the aspects that they give up quite a few. I think the opponents are making 12 a game. So, you know, I think they just don't rotate their zone defense as well as they should.
As Cam Tucker makes the three for Alabama A&M, 44% from three coming into this game, the opponents of Alabama A&M. And they are hurting the Bulldogs with those open looks. As Justice trying to find Cozart inside, draws the foul. We'll get another media timeout. Western Kentucky off to the races here in Bowling Green. Up 20 on Alabama A&M at Diddle Arena the night before Thanksgiving. .7:28 on the clock here in the first half. Western Kentucky leading Alabama A&M 35-15. Dylan Howard, the coach for Alabama A&M, familiar with the Tops from his college career, playing at UAB, went to the NCAA tournament a couple of times with them, Craig. He'll be maybe not happy this evening to see Western Kentucky. And then Rick Stansbury on the other side, of course, coaching the Tops in his 6th season, sitting on win number 105 if the score holds tonight. And a couple of coaches still early in their process this season.
No doubt. You know, the thing about Dylan Howard is, you know, came out of Indiana as a McDonald's All-American high school player, had a stellar career at University of Alabama, Birmingham. That was at the time that Western Kentucky had just joined the Sun Belt in after the 82-83 season, and actually competed against him back in the old Sun Belt days.
There you go. He is in his 4th year at the helm at Alabama A&M, trying to get them back to the tournament for the first time in 16 years as the ball's knocked out off of Cozart. And we saw Alabama State, A&M's rival in the SWAC earlier this season, give Western Kentucky some fits. And those are two teams that were picked 8th and 9th in the SWAC, but they're hoping to exceed those expectations.
Well, you mentioned Alabama State. Boy, they sure didn't look like a 8th or 9th picked team in the SWAC, because they came into this Diddle Arena here and really led at halftime, either 8 or 9 points, I believe. And young man transfer that was out of Owensboro, Kentucky, went to Wyoming and transferred to Alabama State. He had a huge first half, best I recall.
Trace Young was a monster. I think he had 18 of his 20 in the first half. And Alabama A&M and Alabama State both expecting big things from their experienced teams this season, as a foul out front is whistled on Eric Lee, the redshirt freshman from Florida. And Cozart getting some early game burn here for Western Kentucky.
You know, that's one of those things early in the year like this that Coach Stansbury or any other head coach that you want to see your team improve and have one of these break games, if you want to call it that, after the competitive last 3 games that they've had against Power 5 schools. So, you know, this is an opportunity to get some other players some minutes, and hopefully that adds to production later on in the year.
5-game homestand, as we mentioned, for Western Kentucky.
You know, you talk about a 5-game homestand for Western. What about this A&M squad? This is their 4th in a row, and they'll play a total of 12 on the road before they get their next home game in January.
Unbelievable. A month and 30 days between their 2 home games, as Sharp registers his 5th block of the night, but a nice follow-up. And actually the referee calling a charge there as Brashear slides under Eric Lee and draws the charge. Lee thought he had the and one, and it'll be Western ball.
But once again, Sharp, that length. Yep, good job of holding his position. He was just outside of the.
Anderson missed it underneath. The rebound grabbed by the freshman DJ Fairley, getting his chance tonight. And Fairley is fouled out front. This is a guy Alabama A&M really is excited about. He's played 11 minutes so far this season. but he's considered one of the top combo guards in the state in Alabama. Averaged 20+ points a game in high school, out of Hoover High School. As McKnight checks back in for Brashear, 2 for his first 2 from 3.
Coming out of Hoover High School, he's played against some pretty good competition in that Birmingham area.
And Hicks is rolling so far tonight. 3 for his first 3 from three-point range. He's got 11, and just like that, he's actually tied up with Hamilton for points in this one. 5.5 minutes left here in this first half. And Western off to a great start.
Nice skip pass by McKnight.
Justice couldn't get it to roll. Hicks guarded out front by Justice, using the 275-pound Williams for a screen. That was a heat check. Anderson looking for Sharp underneath.
Yeah, just a tough pass, trying to hit the big guy like that, you know, with a little shovel pass.
And an offensive foul drawn by Luke Frampton. And it has to be said, Craig, Luke Frampton coming in tonight now 2 of 3 from 3. He had been struggling shooting the basketball, which has been his hallmark of his game. But the guy has not stopped hustling. He's not stopped chasing loose balls, being a defensive pest. So that has to be a big help for his team, even though his shots aren't falling.
Correct. That's always kind of been his MO, is he does some other hustle things, even if he's not making the shot. But you know, he had the first one partially blocked tonight, and then made his last 2 3-point attempts. So he just looks more confident in this particular game.
Rick Stansbury said he was happy with his team despite the 3 losses on the road, the competitiveness that they showed, and thought that it actually gave him more confidence than he had that they would be a good team in Conference USA. Anderson stops, pops. Look at Sharp among the trees.
Those long arms just reaching it up. You know, that's one thing that he kind of made a little bit of a mistake, is brought the ball down. You know, he has such a length that if you could develop that skill of keeping the ball high once when he gets that offensive rebound, that'd get much better attempts.
And Sharp grabs the rebound there. He's got 6 boards to go with his 5 blocks.
There's one.
Thunders it down on the other end. Rewarded by Justice.
Well, that's the other aspect that Cameron Justice brings to this Hilltopper squad, is his ability to penetrate, not only hit 3-pointers, but he plays under control and keeps his head up. And that time, Sharp made an excellent move, rolling to the basket.
Josh Anderson, an excellent defender, guarding Jalen Johnson on one end, runs the break, and Frampton splashed down on the other.
You know, another unselfish play. Cameron Justice could have pulled up for the 3 on that one, but he made that extra skip pass to Frampton, knowing that his partner has got back on track.
Final 3+ minutes of this first half. It's been all Western. Tucker for 3. Off the iron. And the Tops will have the ball when we come back. They are up 21 points, 41-20 on Alabama A&M with 3:14 to go here in this first half. All Tops at Tittle Arena. Well, the sun is setting in Kentucky as we get ready for Thanksgiving weekend. A great time for everyone to celebrate family. And why not enjoy some basketball on Thanksgiving Eve? Western Kentucky does not look like a team that has had any turkey yet. They are not sluggish whatsoever. Up 41-20 here on Alabama A&M. Jeff Greer, Craig McCormick with you on ESPN+. And Craig, this has been an onslaught of threes from Western, 8 of 11 so far in this one.
And that's been something that Hilltoppers have struggled with this year so far. Just a pretty lazy turnover by McKnight on that time, trying to get it to Cameron Justice in the corner. You know, that's one of those things that McKnight, he struggles with from time to time, is just that lackadaisical pass. And if he can kind of eliminate some of those, he'd have a really strong assist turnover ratio.
Underneath, a battle through this first half between Jamarion Sharp and E.J. Williams. 275 pounds versus 7'5".
But you know, Sharp has held his own in there. He's really looked good, moving around underneath the basketball goal, collecting rebounds, and hasn't been much of an offensive force yet. But hey, you know, big guy 7'5", let him collect all the rebounds he can and block shots, and that's what he's doing. 7
rebounds, 5 blocks in 12 minutes so far for Sharp. A big fella from Hopkinsville, Kentucky, said Western Kentucky was his dream school. Was an all-conference player at Logan as a JUCO before coming to the tops as McKnight all the way to the 10, but didn't have the finish in him.
Seemed to kind of get himself just a little bit out of control, and I think he's really much more comfortable when he goes to his left versus going to the right hand.
Anderson trying to get the kiss off the glass. And A&M happy to run with the tops here. Williams, he's hit that before tonight, but not that time. Inside to Sharp, and he's still got the roll.
I'll tell you what, he took the contact from the much heavier player, and Sharp was able to put just enough spin on the ball and control it into the goal. That's impressive for Sharp to be able to do that, because when I saw him against Alabama State, it didn't take much contact to throw him off kilter of trying to take a shot underneath the goal. And the young man has really stepped up in the last few games. I think playing against that the better competition has kind of elevated his game.
He had 6 points and 7 rebounds against Memphis, 4 points and 6 boards against Minnesota, a game that Western really felt like they should have won down in Asheville. But the competition is what mattered to Rick Sandsbury.
Exactly. You know, you talk about that game that Western Kentucky had against Minnesota. They were actually down 14 at one point in time and got it to within 2, largely on the back of Davian McKnight, who had 26 second-half points in that game and basically carried the Hilltoppers in that comeback, but came up short.
Like Hickman in the game for A&M as Williams trying to go toe-to-toe with Sharp, and Sharp collects his 6th block of the night.
Jeff, now, you wouldn't want to be out there trying to put up that little baby hook, would you?
No, yep. I don't think I would even enter the lane whatsoever. Final minute here of the first half.
You know, and me being 6'10", I don't know if I'd want to.
Certainly a big presence down there. Long arm of the law as the foul is called there on Sharp for a moving screen. And it was Tucker who took the brunt of it.
You know, that's one of the hardest plays in college basketball, is to set that without either moving, or it takes both parties to really make that play happen, because the screener has to be set the entire time. And more importantly, a lot of things that people don't understand is it takes the player that's coming off of that, that's dribbling off of that, to be able to set up their man correctly and be able to use that screen correctly and not make your teammate to move to help you out.
It's Johnson with a nice move to get Sharp in the air. And Craig, I would think that you'd be happy to see somebody throwing an up fake on the big fella to see if they can get him off his feet and get around him.
No doubt. I think you'd have to give a lot of up fakes to try to get that done.
6 blocks in the first half for Jamarion Sharp, 9 rebounds. And at almost to halftime, he is already approaching what could be triple-double type numbers, but Jerry's Hamilton, he's been quiet for the second part of this first half, but he started out with a bang, 5 of 5 from the field.
Yeah, and then Coach got into a rotation. Coach Stansbury got into a rotation, and Hamilton was over on the bench for quite a while some other players played. So I think he got back in here again to get to the foul line.
And a Charlotte native is a senior, started his career at Boston College, was a highly rated top 75 recruit. Spent some time at Maryland before transferring to Western. The shot clock is off here as Western Kentucky has doubled up Alabama A&M in the first half, and a takeaway from Brashear.
Western got into that 1-3-1 half court, just trying to do something different at the end of the first half, and led to a turnover and a score.
And a nice little up and under from Davion McKnight. Hicks to Smith for three. Missed it, and a foul called on Jamarion Sharp. We will stay here. Smith is going to shoot free throws with no time on the clock, as just about everyone was starting to head up to the hallway to get some popcorn, start talking about their Thanksgiving plans.
It's kind of hard to think that Sharp was able to give him a hip check, because there's not a whole lot of hip on the young man. But he got him just enough there to knock him down, and sure enough, he'll get 3 foul shots.
And it would be the second personal on Sharp, and 3 free throws for Dalen Smith, the 6'6" sophomore from Colorado Springs.
I wonder if Coach Stansbury is talking to the referees and wondering if he feels that maybe the shot clock went, or the clock itself expired at the time of the foul. Might be what the referees are looking at. It's pretty close.
It is extremely close, and would obviously be a little bonus for Alabama A&M going into halftime if they could get some free throws. It's been a relatively smooth sailing first half.
Yeah, it hadn't been a whole lot of stoppage in play. Alabama A&M with 7 fouls, the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers with 5. So it's been a pretty calm game from the referee standpoint.
And it did look like on that replay that he got him just before the red lights came on, as the referees review, maybe to see how much time they want to put back on the clock. Stansbury not really putting up much of an argument here.
I think sometimes Coach Stansbury just likes to get a break from the bench and go out and just talk to the referees. He's a very social type of a coach, and really likes to interact with everybody on the court, it seems like.
And it was issued to Sharp, second foul.
.4, looks like they determined that .4 is what they're putting back on the clock.
So Dalen Smith, who was a regular starter last season for A&M, will shoot 3 free throws. That's the first one. He was a star at Liberty High School in Colorado before prepping for a year at Rock Top Academy in Pennsylvania. And he makes the first 2 in relatively high pressure situation for the young man. Just before halftime in the visitors arena.
Well, you know, what's interesting too is this is their first foul shot attempts of the first half, and they made all 3, as they've been struggling. You know, Alabama A&M has been struggling shooting, only shooting 28% here in the first half. So, you know, making three frees to end the half might give them a little momentum.
The sun setting in Kentucky, and Western up 22. Back here at halftime at Diddle Arena in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Jeff Greer, Craig McCormick with you on ESPN+. And Western Kentucky has been dominant in this first half, up 22 points, and a big reason for it is the tallest player in Division I basketball, Jamarion Sharp. Craig, 4 points, a Western career high 9 rebounds, already a career high 6 blocks in 14+ minutes in the first half.
Well, you can see the length of his presence in there against the Alabama A&M players, and then
nice roll to the basket for the big fella to go up and dunk it.
He has been absolutely fantastic in that first half, and a chance maybe to pursue a triple-double. We'll see how the second half pans out. But Craig, they've also been shooting it really well, 8 of 11 in that first half from three. From three,
yes. That's one thing that the Hilltoppers have not done well this year. I think they came into this game maybe shooting 28, 29% from three-point range. So this has been something that I'm sure Coach Stansbury is happy about. And part of that success has been Alabama A&M just really hasn't done that good of a job in their zone defense. If you recall, Hamilton for Western Kentucky did a good job getting into the zone early in the game. So they tried to collapse him into that free throw line extended area because he was shooting that gap. That could have been one of the things that helped to open up the outside for Western Kentucky Hilltoppers.
13 points for Hamilton in that first half, and he's got Western Kentucky and their fans very much excited about how this thing is going. The night before Turkey Day in Bowling Green, Kentucky, up 22 on the visiting Alabama A&M Bulldogs.
Well, and you know, we mentioned, you know, their best player for Alabama A&M was Jalen Johnson, averaging 17 points and 8 rebounds. Here he is at halftime, 1 for 7 from the field for 2 points and 1 rebound. So his lack of production has been missing for A&M.
Garrett Hicks trying to pick it up for him, 11 points, but as a team, just 9 of 32. Western Kentucky is out front here at halftime, up 22 on the visiting Alabama A&M. The players are back out on the floor, and we are a couple minutes away from tip-off, or at least the start again of the second half, I should say. Jeff Greer, Craig McCormick here with you at Diddle Arena in Bowling Green, Kentucky, where Western Kentucky got off to a very fast start. They are 18 of 26 from the field, 69% shooting, and they are up 22 on the visiting Alabama A&M. And Craig, I want to throw two different numbers at you here in this first half. Both teams in the 30s for possession. Alabama A&M 10 scores and 36 possessions. Western Kentucky 20 scores and 34 possessions.
Just a little differential there, isn't it? And, you know, it really hasn't been a sloppy game on Alabama A&M's part. It's just the missed shots that's given Western Kentucky more opportunities.
Yeah, it's just 6 turnovers so far in this first half for Alabama A&M, but the runouts have been fast and furious for Western, 15-0 in fast break points. But we know the Toppers want to get out and run. They want to get those easy baskets.
They do. You know, that they've got to create some rhythm in their offense because they have struggled this year. They don't have that consistent post action. If you recall, Western Kentucky had the benefit of a gentleman by the name of Charles Bassey, who was the 46th pick in last year's draft.
Oh, him? Yeah.
Yeah, you remember him? So, you know, Coach Stansbury had been pressing, and part of his philosophy is that he wants to be able to make more free throws than the opponent attempts. The last 2 years, he's had that opportunity. This year, they've been at a deficit during the first 4 games, down 19. So because of the lack of the inside production, hasn't led to as many opportunities at the foul line of what Coach Stansbury would normally like to see.
And shooting just 61% from the free throw line coming into this game too, a real struggle for the Tops. But tonight they have started to find that shooting touch, Craig. 8 of 11 from 3. We mentioned earlier 69% from the field. Obviously a very nice number for the Tops.
Yes, and you know, a big part of that is Luke Frampton, who came in struggling, only 3 of 26, 11% coming into this game. He missed his first shot that was partially blocked, but then made his last three-point attempts. So he's got himself into a rhythm, and I think that was a little bit contagious. It allowed Cameron Justice to go 2 for 4. So the Toppers have really exploited Alabama A&M from the three-point line.
Alabama A&M in the road maroons with white trim. Western Kentucky in the home whites with the red and black trim ready to go here in the second half. Western in front by 22. Alabama A&M going left to right on your screens. Western Kentucky going right to left as Jalen Johnson will try to get going here in this second half. Cam Tucker finds him again at the top of the key. Johnson trying to go to work on Hamilton and didn't see Sharp lurking. 7 blocks for Sharp. He went down hard though. And you see him grimacing a little bit as he jogs up the floor.
Just has a little bit of a gimp, but I think he's working through it.
Off the turnover on the inbounds, Johnson trying to go to work, and Jamarion Sharp comes flying in.
So was that not a goaltend?
I believe they will
rule
they
counted it.
Basket
Yes.
interference on Jamarion Sharp, who I think could have touched the rafters if he kept jumping.
I think did he
full board.
almost try to block with his armpit, I think.
He may have gotten it. 7 blocks so far for Sharp as Josh Anderson joins the three-point shooting party. It was not a big part of his game last season. 33% from 3, but so far this season, 5 of 12. He's found his stroke a little bit.
You know, one thing against Memphis the other night, there's a nice dish inside. The big fella goes up and gets an and one there, but you know, I was talking about Josh Anderson the other night against Memphis. But he ended up with 7 steals the other night. I mean, that's pretty impressive on the defensive end. So while he's a little bit inconsistent shooting from 3, he's pretty well known for his helping out on the defensive end. I think he's 7th or 8th in the nation right now in steals. His partner in crime, McKnight, Davian McKnight, is 3rd in the country in steals.
Anderson, the All-Conference USA defensive team, drawing the and one at the other end to make up for it for Alabama A&M, and that's what they can do, Western. They can get to the rim, cover 90 feet awfully quickly.
Well, it was a nice little hesitation move by Anderson just to get the defender off balance just a little bit and keep that lane open so he could get all the way to the rim.
Anderson off to a great start today. 5 assists, 3 rebounds, a steal, and 8 points. And Western picking up full court here. Trying to speed up Alabama A&M. A&M happy to run with them. Tucker.
Doesn't want anything to do with Sharp looking him in the eye.
A 1.5 foot advantage as E.J. Williams goes right into Sharp, almost got the roll.
That was a really good move by E.J. Williams, and just another unforced turnover by the Hilltoppers on the other end by Hamilton. But, you know, E.J. Williams did a good job of really creating the contact, but couldn't finish.
Turnovers on 31.5% of their possessions so far tonight. Western 12 for the game as a couple substitutions come on for the Bulldogs. Dalen Smith checking in. A&M just desperate to get its offense going. NJ Cortez also on the floor as Smith tried a tough shot with his right hand going to his left.
I don't think that was a conventional rebound for Sharp, but it'll still add up into his totals.
Sharp now with 10 boards and 7 blocks tonight. Stansbury on Hamilton for that underhanded pass that got deflected. Down to 2 on the shot. Anderson just got it off in the nick of time, got his own rebound. And Western still has it. McKnight to Anderson again, and E.J. Williams, a brick wall inside on the run out.
Yeah, Anderson was looking for the foul, but you know, he was the one creating the contact, and then A&M comes down on the other end and takes advantage of the mismatch in numbers.
And this thing is frenetic to start the second half. Frampton, the lob to Sharp.
Frampton was coming down on that right side, and it was like, okay, I've got 7'5", and I've got the high wire Josh Anderson. Which one do I throw it to?
An embarrassment of riches for lobs. Frampton up to 3 assists as Smith goes right at Sharp. Block number 8 for Jamarion Sharp. Frampton at the other end. And this place would have exploded if that went down.
Oh.
That's a nasty trip there. As their feet got caught up with each other, and Dalen Smith went head first into the wood.
Yeah, that's pretty tough when both players are in full speed, and you know, there was nothing malicious in any form or fashion. It was just they got their feet tied up and both went down pretty hard.
Yeah, Frampton had his eye on the ball, and their feet just got tangled there. They both appear to be okay. As is usually the case on the hardwood, it just sounds so painful for both players, but they do appear to be okay. As the referee's trying to talk things through here to restart the game.
Don't totally understand unless they made a substitution that they shouldn't have made.
I think they're trying to get Smith off the floor. And that's exactly what happens as they bring on Brandon Powell, the senior wing from Huntsville.
Nice inbound play by A&M. Just a simple cut to the basket and left them wide open for an easy little jumper.
5 of 9 to start this second half, Alabama A&M.
Totally different contrast for the first half for them. They're just getting better looks and moving a little bit better with the basketball.
There's a lob underneath to Anderson, and he caught it a little too short. A&M trying to get going. Hicks, the jumper, he got it.
Well, Hicks made 3 of 5 in the first half, so you know he's been a big contributor for them so far in this game. Even though that they're still down 16, but you know Hicks is a nice looking player.
He's got a game-high 14 as Frampton with a nice cut through and finish. He's got 12. Johnson thought about it, driving on Sharp, and he smacks it off the backboard.
Another huge block by Sharp.
A nice hustle play from Cortez. And then a foul by McKnight.
He was McKnight was left down there by himself that time after the strip and steal.
It's a frantic pace here in Bowling Green. Western Kentucky up 18 on the visiting Alabama A&M. Back here in Bowling Green, and the fans absolutely loving the show they're getting tonight. They may not know it just yet, but possibly some history in the making. Jamarion Sharp has 6 points, 10 rebounds, and now has tied the Western Kentucky single game record with 9 blocks with 14:46 to play in this one.
He has a really good shot of breaking the Western Kentucky record of 9 held by Chris Marcus and L. Grace Wilborn in prior years. So he's up there with some very good company in Western folklore history here.
Marcus set that record with 9 against Tennessee State in 2000, and Wilborn tied it in 2006 against FIU as Brandon Powell comes out of the timeout shooting a couple for Alabama A&M. Jeff Greer, Craig McCormick here with you on ESPN Plus. And this second half has been a lot more competitive than the first, as Western led by 22 at the half. But Alabama A&M +6 to start the second half, pressing.
Yeah, trying to speed the game up a little bit. They were fairly lackadaisical, it seemed like, in the first half, and they're showing a lot more grit and toughness and intensity here in the second half, and that's led them to a little bit better flow offensively and creating some points off turnovers too.
Scheduled tough to start this season as Sharp blocks the shot. And that gives them the double digits and the new game record, single game record for Western Kentucky with 10 blocks.
You know, it really doesn't matter if you get just a piece of it or not, it still counts, right?
And now he's just 2 field goals away from a triple-double. So we'll be on watch for that for the rest of this game. It's rare to see it with blocks and rebounds instead of assists or steals, but here we are.
Had a wide open Anderson at the other end, and Hamilton just didn't put enough on it to get it down there to him.
Rick Stansbury, a look of displeasure on the bench with his team's 15 turnovers, and a lot of them have come when they're trying to rush the runouts.
Here in the second half especially, because first half they did a decent job of taking care of the ball after they had those 3 early turnovers to start the game.
Jumper in the corner from Smith is no good, and then E.J. Williams had the ball knocked out of his hands.
You bring up an interesting stat, and let me see if my memory can work through here. I think there's been only 1 triple-double in Western Kentucky history, and a gentleman by the name of Orlando Mendez Valdez is the one that had done that while he was here. We'll see if we can get any feedback on that one.
We'll hit up our pal Zach Greenwell with all the information. The Do It All SID for Western Kentucky basketball. As Western showing a zone here, 13+ minutes to go. Smith tried to get inside, and Cozart swatted him there.
You know, it looks like Coach Stansbury just wanted to change the tempo on the defense because Alabama A&M was starting to get into a little bit more of a rhythm against Western's man-to-man defense. And so, especially with Cozart being in there, they go to zone quite a bit when Cozart comes in.
Alabama A&M takes a full timeout. They want to talk it over down 16 in Bowling Green to the hosting Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Back here at Diddle Arena, and the crowd here very much enjoying a show from Western Kentucky as Jamarion Sharp pursues a triple-double. He's already set the new school record for blocks in a game with 10, but he is resting right now, and Alabama A&M will have a chance with 3 on the shot clock here to try to keep chipping away. They were down 22 at halftime, and it's now down to 16 points. Jeff Greer, Craig McCormick here with you on the hill in Bowling Green, and a chance here to get a good shot with 3 seconds left on that shot clock. It falls to Lee, the long ranger, and Justice chases it down and wins the foul. Decent look out of the timeout.
Sure did.
And foul is on Powell.
And if Justice wasn't fouled on that particular play, it looked like he had a Western player coming up on this left side that could have been a 2-on-1 situation for them. But you know, A&M, they've done a good job. They've outscored the Toppers 16-10 here. Start the second half. They've shot better. Western had a blistering 69% shooting first half. Now only 4 of 11 for 36%. So, you know, that's one of the things that has cooled off for the Western Kentucky team.
Down to 10 on the shot clock as Justice trying to find Anderson in the corner. Western Kentucky back in action at Diddle on Saturday, taking on UT Martin. And Alabama A&M, this is their game before a lengthy break. They have 2 weeks off after this one before they take on North Alabama. As Justice fakes it and takes it, but couldn't make it. Nice play there from Hamilton to keep possession for Western Kentucky.
The prior year that Cameron Justice played for Western Kentucky, that little pump fake that he uses from the three-point line is something that you don't see a whole lot of anymore. But he uses it very well. That time he couldn't finish, but the thought process there gave him a nice open look.
The third all-time leading scorer in Kentucky high school basketball history, made 4 threes against Memphis. Anderson has it blocked out front. Inside to McKnight, a tough finish, and Hamilton couldn't get the putback to go. The top stick with it. Hamilton for 3.
Good ball rotation for the Hilltoppers, but no finish. Nice run out here.
Tucker may have gotten away with a walk there, but a good finish, and it's a 14-point game. Crowd starting to get a little antsy here.
Well, A&M is playing with a little bit more fire and intensity the second half. I don't know if sometimes coach gives a little halftime speech to them or not, but that was a nice pass and flush by Cozart on the inside.
The lead was as big as 25, and Cozart with the punch there. He's played well tonight, 4 points, 2 boards in 7 minutes. Tucker will find in the corner for Lee. And his last touch by Johnson. And we'll take another break as Western Kentucky out front on Alabama A&M by 16, shooting 53% from the field with easy buckets like this one at Diddle. Back in Bowling Green, 11:26 to go in this one, a non-conference tilt between WKU and Alabama A&M. And Western Kentucky up 16 here in the second half in pursuit of its second win of the season. Trying to snap a 3-game losing streak, those games all coming away from home. Jeff Greer, Craig McCormick with you. And the pace has picked up in this second half, Craig, with Alabama A&M setting the press.
Yeah, they've been able to score to allow them to be able to press, and you know, they've turned the Toppers over a few times in that press.
McKnight almost lost the ball there. Inside to Cozart, met at the rim by Johnson, and he's whistled for the foul underneath. That's going to be Jalen Johnson's first foul of the late afternoon. And the big fella, Isaiah Cozart, 6'7", 235. Went to Madison Central High School, was a Mr. Basketball finalist here in Kentucky in 2019. And with Justin Butts out, is getting a chance tonight to play some backup minutes at the 5.
Yeah, because this is his first game action of the season, so he's taking advantage of the opportunity to come in and be productive.
Butts dealing with some knee soreness. It has kept him in street clothes here tonight. Cam Tucker trying to go to work. Step back jumper. I think Hamilton got a piece of it. Inside to Cozart.
I think since Cozart might not have been in the scouting report since he hadn't played, that they've kind of lost track of him on the last couple possessions.
His 31st appearance for the Tops over his career, and he's making the most of it. Tough shot there from Hicks.
Hicks has had a nice game.
16 points for the junior. At a James Clemens High School, was second team All-SWAC last season.
Hilltoppers did a much better job that time controlling the press action by getting the skip pass ahead and then an easy basket inside to Hamilton.
Justice's 4th assist of the night as Hamilton up to 15 points. And trying to dribble out of the early jump there is Sanjay Cortez, but the referees won't allow it. Jamarion Sharp, hard to miss. The 7'5" big fella is back on the floor for Western Kentucky as Cozart and Hamilton get a big applause coming out. And Sharp needs 4 points to register the 3rd triple-double in Western Kentucky basketball history. Certainly would be keeping good company if he got there. Frampton was trying to play behind to Sharp, but they were not on the same page.
No, that pass was wasn't even close. But you know what? You know, you'd like to see the young player Sharp here. See if Coach Stansbury tries to call a couple post-up plays. Let's just see if he can get his back to the basket, you know?
Well, Craig, you've obviously, being a star player yourself, I'm always curious if anybody is talking about something like this on the bench, if the coaches know it. Does anybody really think about it in the course of the game?
You know, not really. You know, maybe if you get within one aspect of a double-double, triple-double, something historic like that, or like what Sharp has done here with the block situation, you know. Sometimes you might get the sports information director that's nearby to kind of give a little note or a little nudge to one of the assistant coaches, and that's how it kind of gets filtered in there. But the head coach, they generally don't know what's going on.
Well, we'll see if they reward Sharp here late as Justice splashed down from the corner. And they have established a little more control here, back up 22. Justice has 9 points, following up his 18-point performance against Memphis. And that 3-point shooting touch is a welcome addition.
And while Western Kentucky went to that zone defense while Cozart was in, now with the taller Sharp back, they've gone back into their perennial man-to-man defense.
Smith trying to drive on Justice. Williams going at Sharp.
Like a walk.
And took some extra steps.
I think those, he's seen a few blocks in this game so far, and I think that led to the little shuffle foot in there.
Well, you could see him trying to get into his body, and Sharp was
backing
off, yeah. Western trying to break the press again. Does so comfortably.
Kind of see this intensity kind of stepping down a little bit for A&M after Western stretch that lead back out again.
Put a lot of energy into getting it back to 14. Here in the second half, Hicks, tough shot. Couldn't get it to fall. It hasn't been falling for him like it was in the first half, and it's out on Justice. So we will take a break at the under 8 media timeout. Western Kentucky reasserting control, up 67-45 at Tittle. Western Kentucky and its faithful, young and old, enjoying a little pre-Thanksgiving action at Tittle Arena, where the Tops are 7 minutes and 43 seconds away from their second win of the season, up 22 on Alabama A&M. And forget about Thanksgiving, we got Christmas music playing in here. Jeff Greer, Craig McCormick with you. I feel like we got to wait till Friday for that, Craig.
I know, it seems like we always want to get to the next holiday before we take in the first one. All you have to do is go look in the stores and see what's out next. You know, what is it, St. Patrick's Day stuff out?
As Garrett Hicks gets inside for the bucket, he's got 18. Started hearing Christmas music in early November. Nice save underneath from Lee, but it was taken away by Anderson.
A little sloppy play. There's one to him.
There's the lob to Jamarion Sharp. And now we are truly on triple-double watch. He's got 8 points, 12 rebounds, and 10 blocks.
You know what I thought was the best part about that is Sharp was able to catch it, control it, and then he dunked it with one hand.
Super athletic guy. And tap out there from the 7'5" big man. And that time Johnson gets into his body and gets the bucket. Jalen Johnson just 8 points today, 4 of 13.
Came in as their leading scorer and only scored 2 in the first half, so he's kind of got a little bit better action here in the second half.
Brashear for 3, missed it.
Hit a couple in the first half from 3.
Trying to find Sharp here.
There's our post up.
This is the moment, and he had it knocked away by Johnson. Back in the other direction.
That's a goaltend, I believe.
They're going to count the bucket. Craig, it's just, I know we're talking about him a lot, but it is when you are playing a game and watching a game with not only an elite shot blocker, but a guy who, with the wingspan and height that Jamarion Sharp has, when they are clicked on and they are engaged, you can't look away.
No, you can't, because he has the potential of a triple-double that is the unconventional side of a triple-double. So you really don't see this all too often, and we have the opportunity to witness it firsthand ourselves and our viewers to be able to see this. So I guess that's one reason why we keep pumping them up.
Yeah, it's hard not to. As Dalen Smith goes to the line, missed the free throw. And Davian McKnight, 6 rebounds so far tonight. Really good rebounding guard. Brashear, catch and shoot.
Third one on the night. Yeah, third one on the night. You know, you mentioned Davian McKnight getting his rebounds, and that's something he's done well this year. Fortunately, tonight, he hasn't had to do the scoring, hasn't had to carry the scoring load because he came in averaging 18 points a game, and this game he had other players step up early, so I think he's just trying to take control of the game from a game management standpoint than he is trying to look for a shot.
Just 4 shot attempts for McKnight, and guys like Brashear playing this well. He's 4 of 5 from the field. And Brashear came in with that reputation as Sharp tried to get to it just before it hit the backboard. Did not do so.
You know, one thing about these block shots is early in this game, A&M was just trying to shoot over the top of them. These last couple, they're delivering the basketball onto the backboard, and that's helping them create the goaltending shot versus just trying to shoot over him. They're trying to shoot around him, if that makes sense.
And we've got a 5th foul called on, or no, the foul is on Dalen Smith, excuse me, as Josh Anderson got to the 10 for an and one. Anderson himself also zeroing in on a potential triple-double with 10 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds. He's running low on time here, but he's had an excellent game of stat compiling plus 3 steals.
Excellent stat line, especially the 8 assists, because a lot of times Josh Anderson is a player that's been here for 4 years, got his 5th year of eligibility now. That a lot of times he doesn't create. He's not a typical creator on the offensive end. He stands around and will dribble the ball a little bit. So to see 8 assists out of him, that's a big number.
And I don't know that Sharp meant to do that. It deflected up off of his fingers and in. Maybe E.J. Williams got a hand to it.
Sharp wasn't thinking if he scored on the other end, he'd get credit for it, do you?
As Brashear absolutely in heat check mode, and you can't blame him. Hicks got it from the corner. He's had an excellent game, 21 points for Garrett Hicks. He was just 6 of 22 from 3 coming into this game, and now 5 of 10 today. He has gotten it going.
Well, he has been the one bright spot for Coach Howard over there on this A&M squad, because Jalen Johnson, their leading scorer, just really has not gotten into a groove in this game. So Hicks has done an excellent job stepping up.
Four minutes to go. Western in firm control. There it is! Jamarion Sharp on the head and a triple-double.
I think with being able to watch stats live online, there's quite a few people in this arena that realize what just happened.
We will take a break, watching history in the making at Western Kentucky. Jamarion Sharp with a triple-double, and the Tops lead by 21 in the last media timeout at Diddle. Jamarion Sharp, who grew up in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, and said Western Kentucky was his dream college, has just entered the history books with a dreamlike performance today, a triple-double, just the third in school history for Jamarion Sharp. 10 points, 12 rebounds, 10 blocks, and it's the second double or triple-double in 3 years. Darius Thompson back in 2018 had one against Marshall with 33 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. Jeff Greer, Craig McCormick here with you. And Jamarion Sharp, Craig, right before the holidays, early in the season, early in his first year at WKU, has put himself into the history books.
That's pretty impressive. And you know, the thing about that is 4 of those buckets that led to his 10 points have all been dunks. And I think what happens is, you know, a lot of players in their career obviously don't have the opportunity to play with a 7'5" player. And so it looks like that it's taken Western Kentucky players a little time to figure out, how do I deliver and make the most productive out of our tallest player here. And we've been able to see them off the drive, look for him on some lobs and throw it up there and let him finish. So, you know, that's just something that comes in over time, just because you're not used to doing that.
He has been absolutely excellent today. He averaged 8 points, 7 boards, and 6 blocks at John A. Logan College at the junior college level, and is showing the ability to put them all up again here tonight. Back-to-back really good games after a strong performance at Memphis. And how about Sherman Brashear from Panola College, a Dallas native, coming in here, having himself a big night after signing late in July. He's got 13 points. Wanted a foul there. And A&M gets the easy bucket for Jalen Johnson. Alabama A&M losing on the road to UAB, Cincinnati, and Jacksonville State, as Bashir is just absolutely cooking his 4th 3 of the night.
Kind of has a little motion after he makes those threes too, that I'm trying to figure out what he does. A little arm motion there, but you know, he's had a lot of wide open looks is what's helped his success here tonight.
Tucker, nice find in the corner. And a miss from Hicks, a big rebound from Isaiah Cozart, who's played well off the bench. Brashear just absolutely locked into his offense, cutting to the rim and draws the foul.
Yeah, we have David McKnight down here after that last scuffle on the other end. He kind of looked like he might have got poked in the eye a little bit. Yep, and his teammate Josh Anderson comes over to kind of console him a little bit, but looks like he's working it out from McKnight's side.
And that may be at least close to the end of his action as a couple more players come on for Western Kentucky. Noah Stansbury, the second oldest son of Rick, is on the floor along with Bailey Conrad.
Of course, we have pretty much wholesale substitution for A&M here too. A couple minutes ago in this contest, looks like they decided to let some other players have some time in this one.
DJ Fairley, Jabiri Smith, Alec Hickman, Dalen Smith, and Anjay Cortez on the floor as the public address announcer here at Diddle Arena acknowledges Jamarion Sharp's triple-double. And that is going to be our big takeaway from this game. A history-making evening for the big fella. Bashir to the 10, and he missed the dunk.
I think he wanted to get, he thought he was up higher than what he was, but nice, strong baseline move by Bashir, but just didn't finish. You wonder how much longer Coach Stansbury is going to have Davian McKnight in the game here, but maybe he needs him because he's really his only point guard left in the game.
It does look like Tyler Olden is about to check in for Western, as McKnight adds to his rebound haul. 7 boards, 5 assists for Davion McKnight. Only took 4 shots, as we get a quick timeout here on the sideline just for the substitution. And it is Olden coming on for McKnight, who gets a hearty applause from the Diddle faithful. So Craig, I'll put it in both directions. First, if you're Alabama A&M, we know they're on this 2-month-long slog away from home. Came in, put up a pretty strong fight in the second half. What do you think they're coming out of this game thinking?
You know, it's one of those things that, you know, they're challenged because they do have to play on the road quite a bit to develop the dollars for their program. And, you know, coming out of this, they look much better in the second half than they did in the first. So you have to give them some credit for that. So I think you've got to take that positive that they came out and competed much better to start the second half and for the most of the second half. Then we have Cozart for Western Kentucky. His first minutes of the year, he's had 3 or 4 of these dunks so far.
He's had a great game, 9 points, 4 boards. But Western entirely, this is a get-right game, Craig. Shooting 56% from the field, making 12 threes. This is exactly what the doctor prescribed for them coming home after a tough road trip.
It sure is. You know, you compete against some good teams early, and you know, you might not come out on the winning side on those, but at least it prepares you, especially with the newcomers that Coach Stansbury has almost, it seems like, year in and year out. And you can take that for a lot of teams in college basketball with all the transfer portals and all the transferring that goes on today. Is a lot of the complexion of a lot of these teams and players. It changes so much the dynamics in college basketball today.
And there's still a big name on their bench who they're waiting for NCAA clearance, and Keith Williams, who was a star at Cincinnati. And you gotta figure getting him back will be a huge boost for Western Kentucky, as Bashir tripped up himself, called timeout.
Well, and Williams is a very proven player. You know, that's the other thing about it. And I don't know, don't get me started on NCAA clearance and so forth, you know, because I'm sure that they're working on somebody's baseball clearance or, you know, some spring sport. I really think they need to focus when you're in season, get these players, get them a yes or no, and move on.
And Western Kentucky comes home from a 3-game stretch away from Diddle and very much feels the friendly confines of their home arena. A comfortable win in front of the home faithful. 88-62 is your final score as Alabama A&M drops to 1-4 and Western Kentucky climbs to 2-3. Craig, your final thoughts?
As you said, this is a get-right game for the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers team. Coach Howard got his team to come out in the second half and really compete. So, you know, that's the positives you got to take. But just a all-around good performance by Western Kentucky. And what a pleasure tonight to be able to see the young Sharp come in here and get a triple-double the unconventional way.
Jamarion Sharp, the story of the game, with 10 points, 12 rebounds, 10 blocks for the junior coming to Western Kentucky. What a way to start the Thanksgiving weekend for the Western Kentucky fan base and the team. They will be back in action on Saturday against UT Martin. But first, an 88-62 victory over Alabama A&M and a chance to go celebrate Thanksgiving on a high. For Craig McCormick, I am Jeff Greer saying see you later from Diddle Arena in Bowling Green. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, wear some stretchy pants, and we'll see you Saturday back at Diddle.